It pays to hire a pro. Sometimes it pays to hire a pro. Troy Sands.
The waves were crashing over the bow of the boat as we were trying for the 5th time to get over the spot. We knew this had to be the spot. We had the numbers plugged in the GPS that my buddy Scott had given us. And we just kept passing over and over and looking at the fish finder for the fish, seeing nothing. Now the waves and the chop were getting worse, and we finally circled again, and after the 5th time we thought we were on it, we dropped the anchor. As I'm getting my line ready to go to fish for all these yellowtail snapper that we know are down there, I hear my friend Mike at the front of the boat. Ow! Mike, what's that? You okay? No! What happened? Oh, this is not good. And that's when I knew this was one of those days we probably wanted to hire a pro. Madam Contest Master, fellow Toastmasters, most welcome guests. Tonight I want to share with you a few stories that illustrate sometimes it pays to hire a professional. Now, we probably all had those instances in our lives when we've thought, geez, I wish I just had somebody who knew what they were doing. And I'll share some of my stories with you. But I hope that in addition to just getting laughs at my expense, you learn a valuable lesson at the end of my speech. We'll get to that a little bit later. First, let's go back to the boat. So I look at my friend Mike and say, what happened? I walk up there and he's standing there with a hook sticking out of his thumb. Mike, what did you do? He says, well, I was tying my line off and it slipped, and he hit with these big circle hooks about this big, right into his thumb, barb and everything. I said, ooh. Well, you know, what do you want to do? We just found the spot. We've been circling for an hour, you know. Can we fish for a little bit? He says, sure. But first try to help me get this hook out. Okay. So I go to his tackle box and I get a fillet knife. He says, just cut around the barb. We can just get the barb out. Then, you know, it'll be okay. I'm not real good at that kind of stuff, so I'm kind of not really looking, but trying to slice on my friend's hand. And after about 20 minutes, we realized that really wasn't going to work. Those hooks with the barbs, they have the barbs for a reason. That's why the fish don't get off. Well, meanwhile, my friend Joey's in the back of the boat, and he's trying to get all the stuff ready in the boat because the water's real choppy, and next thing I know, he screams. What happened, Joey? He leaned over. Oh, my ankle. I think I busted my ankle. Well, I'm not kidding. This is a true story. This just happened. He broke his ankle. My friend Mike had a hook in his thumb, and we haven't even dropped a line in the water yet. Sometimes it pays to hire a pro. You know, the day before we were out with a fishing guide. We caught thousands of fish. Probably tens of thousands of fish. It was a great day. So we think, oh, we could go do this by ourselves. Sure. We did actually fish for about 2 hours while Mike was fiddling with the hook in his thumb, but we didn't catch anything. Sometimes it pays to hire a pro. Another area in my life that we like to do things ourselves sometimes, and it backfires, home improvement. Everybody has their home improvement stories, right? Where you have a house, we have an older house, we're always constantly having to fix something in the house. And, you know, I can do it myself. I'm like Tim Allen out of the TV show Home Improvement. Yeah, not so much. I remember the one time, all I had to do was run a cable from the outside box into my TV room. We had a new cable line coming. Sounds pretty simple enough. I've got my power drill, hammer drill. I go over there because there's a concrete block wall, and I'm drilling. All of a sudden, the TV blows off. All the electricity in the house goes out. Yeah, I drilled right into the electric line. Well, that became an expensive proposition when the electrician got involved. I always have a knack too, like plumbing. I don't see Chris Rinaldi here tonight, but he's the kind of guy that loves me because he's in the plumbing business. And every time I try to fix a small leak in my house, it turns into a giant revenue opportunity for the plumber. Sometimes it pays to hire a pro. You know, my favorite story of when I didn't hire a professional, and I, looking back, wish I had. We got married, my wife and I. And you know, if you've ever planned a wedding, there's a lot of things that go into a wedding. You have a lot of expenses. You've got the caterers, you've got to find a place, you've got the photographer, you've got the DJ or band, and all these things add up. So we said, as we were planning our wedding and budget, we said, you know, we really don't need a videographer. You know, everybody's got these little handheld video cameras. Jerome's got one in the back. All our friends are going to have one. We have one we can give to somebody to take the wedding. And nowadays with the computer, you can edit all of the footage and create a pretty nice video yourself. So I said, we don't really need to spend the extra money on that. So that's what we did. And it was great. And we had a wonderful wedding, have great memories of it, luckily, because none of the video came out very well. You've got everybody who holds those video cameras is always doing this. And then they move it to the other hand because their arm gets tired. So you're constantly watching. It makes you sick to your stomach. I remember watching the footage on our honeymoon. We were sitting in an airport on the layover. And my favorite spot was my friend Ray, who didn't realize that the little cameras have an off button. So you always have the ground in between the scenes, like the Blair Witch Project. So we have all this video now that I volunteered to edit. Boy, that was fun. Hours and hours of this and this. So I did. I loaded it all on my computer, and I finally worked it through, and it was a nice anniversary present for Shauna. 6th anniversary. So, what's the lesson learned in all of these funny stories about me wishing I had hired a professional? The reality is, it does pay to hire a pro sometimes. But when you do hire that professional, take the time to watch and learn from what they're doing. When we go out fishing now, I'm not just going to be reeling in the fish, I'm going to be talking to that guide. All right, what made you decide to anchor up this way with this wind? And how do you know these numbers are better than those numbers over this time of year? Why is it better to do this than that? Every time we have anybody come over to do anything around the house now, I guarantee you I watch him and try to learn. And as for video cameras, well, Jerome's got a good idea with the tripod. I think I'll try that one. So the point of the matter is, we learn from others. Sometimes it pays to hire a pro. But in the process, try to educate yourself in these areas, and you'll come out a little bit better on the other side. There's the old saying, and I like to fish, so if you give a man a fish, he eats for a day. If you teach a man to fish, he sits in his boat and drinks beer all day. Contest master.